So it began a search. And over 3 or 4 or 5 years, I began collecting patterns and started knitting them. I was at this stage a very basic knitter. Real lace, as we know on dresses, is motifs on a sort of netting background, and the netting is called the ground. Now the basics of lace knitting are called faggoting, which is simply yarn forward, knit 2 together to make holes.
Say that again?
Yarn forward, knit 2 together, which makes a hole. The very earliest patterns were so simple, it was basically just faggoting extended. And so I did the second shawl in the book with extended faggoting and a very simple 7-stitch border, which is easy enough for a beginner to tackle.
Do you always think lace knitting is for an advanced?
Yes, I'm very sorry that this concept exists among knitters.
It's an error, right?
It is definitely an error. When I looked at them in detail, I realised that the patterns were, they were components, different components of the earlier patterns joined together very often. It wasn't a new pattern at all.
Well, thank you very much, Jane.
Everybody cast on with their 20 stitches.
What type of needle are you using?
Well, we're using probably about a 7 or so, because normally on socks you use a 1 or 2. But to learn on can be bigger things.
Okay.
Because
I was thinking that's not a sock.
No, it's not unless you're making a Christmas sock.
Oh, okay. And is there an advantage to circular needles over the 5 needles?
Well, there is, and later on we'll do that. And the reason that there is an advantage is that a lot of people don't like the double points because you got all the points poking at your face.
Right.
And then with the double point, you only have half your stitches on one needle, half on the other, so you're not dealing with all the little 15 stitches on one needle, 15, 15,
right.
15.
They're all divided up.
Yeah, it's all divided up. And the work sits on the table of the circular needle when you're not hitting those stitches.
The loop down here.
Yeah. And so the tips are way out here, so you can't loop them.
Okay.
That's one of the advantages.
Okay.
Plus, it's just slicker to work to the table in between.
And do you normally, when you do socks, you do them from the cuff down or the toe?
Well, the traditional normal is cuff down, but now whoever created toe up ought to be getting an award, because then you don't have to kitchener stitch the toe, which is miserable for most people.
Right.
And you do get a really clean toe, and the heel's wonderful, just like it is anyway. But then your top of your sock is bound off, and so it caps on, and we have ways of making the bound off laces as opposed to cast on, which is tougher to make laces.
Oh, okay.
So then it
So
goes
there's an advantage.
There's a lot of advantage. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Nancy.
You're welcome.